Hello, Cancer. All right, here we go. This message is for you. This is a reading for Cancer. For the month of December, we're asking what wants to come forward for Cancer for the month of December. What wants to come forward for Cancer for the month of December? So far we have the Four of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and the Fool, and the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, one more wants to drop out. Okay. Four of Swords, King of Pentacles, the Fool, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Ten of Swords. Alrighty. Okay, let's take a look at this. What does this mean for Cancer? What is important for Cancer to know for the month of December? Okay, so we have a couple of major arcanas here. So these are like big themes for you. Let's see. The Four of Swords is really that energy after heartbreak. It is the energy of kind of like rest and relax, and you know, you've gone through something painful and now you're just kind of like sitting with it a little bit and processing it all, trying to figure out like what it all means and how you can like really like alchemize it in order to kind of, you know, turn it into something useful or something better. But the pain is still a little present because these three swords are still here pointing down at him, you know. One has been laid to rest, but there's like three more that are kind of still pointing almost as if they're like ready to pierce. And he's got his hands up kind of in this, you know, praying formation. And so there's a lot of, I feel like there's some negotiation with your maker, you know, that is happening. I feel like you're asking for some support here. Okay. And then we have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, the King of Pentacles is somebody who's very accomplished. He's very abundant. He's really created a lot of abundance for himself. And he's done this through some real hard work and dedication. And, you know, I feel, okay, this is what I'm feeling. I feel like a lot of it is just this very monotonous work. That's actually kind of what I'm getting from this King of Pentacles, is this very like monotonous kind of work, like grind, like doing the grind, going through the grind, you know, just like this routine of like getting up and going to work every day and not really putting much thought into it. And it doesn't necessarily feel like building. It just kind of feels like building in the sense of like there's some goal that you're you know, trying to attain through this work, but it almost just feels like work, just work, like grind work. Okay, so we'll come back to that. We'll see how that goes. The Fool. The Fool. I'm just like, it's almost like this, it's almost like the opposite energy that I'm feeling from the King of Pentacles. The Fool, there's just this lightness here. It's like the Fool's almost dancing, you know, like so oblivious to everything else around him, you know, that he just like might dance himself off the cliff, you know, like he's just in this like total hippie vibe, you know, like he's got his little hobo bag and he's holding a flower. His head is up to the sky, you know, watching the clouds, dreaming, dancing, feeling good. I really feel this sense of like listening to music and just dancing. It's interesting. I never noticed this before, but this sun here is white. And it makes sense because, I mean, the background is yellow, but I've never noticed this sun being white. And white, you know, often it represents like purity. I want to say cleanliness for some reason, but like, just like this it's pure, innocent. So it's like, it's almost like this cleansing, you know, it's like this cleansing that is present. The Wheel of Fortune, when I see the Wheel of Fortune card, there's so much symbology in this card. It's, you know, first of all, it signifies, you know, the wheel of life, right? Like we're always, the wheel of life is always turning. It's always moving. You know, we're always going around it. We're always doing it. And the snake is a representation of like things kind of like coming from, you know, the spiritual or the ethereal, and coming down to earth and being manifest into the physical. And then Anubis is kind of like, you know, representing from the physical moving back up into the spiritual. And the Sphinx there is holding the sword of truth and is kind of like overlooking all of it, and kind of overseeing and guiding all of it. So the wheel is always turning, right? Okay, so sorry about that. I had to stop the video for a second and come back to it. But anyway, so to continue with the Wheel of Fortune, so the snake is really coming down to materialize into the third dimensional. Anubis is going back up into the ethereals, into the heavens, kind of like signaling that we can all, you know, get back up into the heavens, quote unquote heavens. But the Wheel of Fortune is also, you know, in the center. It's like when you find yourself in the center of the wheel, everything can be turning around and, you know, kind of, you know, spinning around you. But when you're in the center, you're much more stable. You're much more grounded. You're much less affected by everything that's spinning around you. Okay. And the Wheel of Fortune is really kind of like, it is very much about the laws of the universe too, and how life works, right? Everything is kind, it goes in a cycle, you know, and there's ups and downs. There's the descent into the third dimensional and the rise back up to the heavens, into the spiritual. And that there's some order to it all. There's rules, there's universal laws. And there's Aquarius, there's Taurus, there's Leo, and my gosh, I keep forgetting, but this ego represents the last fixed sign. But what those fixed signs represent is that, you know, it's really saying that like there's, even though the wheel is turning, there is still structure to the universe that remains unchanged. It remains fixed. Okay, that's what the Wheel of Fortune is. And it's also, it has this very like beneficent energy to it. So it is meant to be a card of you know, that benefits, like a gift or something like that. I often feel it as the universe has your back. Like if you, like the universe is giving you a nudge to move in this particular direction, and there it's, you know, the universe is really supporting that move for you. Okay. And then of course the 10 of Swords is dead, done, over with. There are 10 swords coming out of this guy's back. He's on the ground. He's done for. But 10s are a wonderful energy because they represent beginnings as well as endings, or endings as well as beginnings, right? When one door closes, another door opens. And that's really what the 10 of Swords represents. And so when we think about swords, right, it's the element of air. And so we're talking about ideas, thoughts, beliefs, those kinds of things. And so there is like a very like a mentality really here that is putting, you know, being put to rest. Okay. And I do feel like the mentality is this work, right? This, I get up, I go to work every day, and I work my butt off. And what is it really for? You know, is it just to live, just to, so I can get up the next day and do the same thing all over again? And so I really feel like this is the mentality that is kind of coming to an end for you. And it's not coming lightly, because you've put this thought into it, right? You've processed it all. You've like really looked at it. You took a step back from it and really took a look at all of this work that you are doing. And you really came to the conclusion that it's not what you want to do anymore. It's done. You're done doing that. You're done with the monotony. You're done with the mundane. You're done with, you know, this routine of just like working your butt off every day for what? Like, you don't know where it's all going, what it's all leading to. It's like, it's also this kind of idea of like, you know, giving your all to a company that doesn't necessarily support you, you know? And instead, instead, what you have coming forward is the energy of the Fool. And this is just a complete lightness. Like, you know, the King of Pentacles does not typically represent this work till you die kind of energy. You know, but in this case, that's really what I'm feeling from it. And so the Fool is the complete opposite of what is coming through with the King of Pentacles. The Fool is all about keeping it light, keeping it easy, keeping it carefree. Like I said, I was totally getting hippie vibes off of this Fool. He's dancing, he's soaking up the sun, he's, you know, just like having a, like, just really in this space of bliss. And the Fool energy really is traditionally about like this 0 point energy where all possibilities exist, right? Anything is possible. It's like being in that energy of anything is possible. And I feel like that's what you're really realizing right now. Like, I feel like you've been driven, you know, you've worked yourself into the ground, and now you're tired of it, and you're having this new, you know, phase of understanding, of real enlightenment, of, you know, there's a different way to do it that is really going to bring more like joy into your life, more freedom into your life, more stress-free, you know, energy into your life. And the Wheel of Fortune is saying that you're being supported in this. You know, you're being supported in this big shift for yourself. You're being supported in this idea of like really like letting go of this, you know, work yourself into the ground mentality, and, you know, being more carefree and more light. And so, you know, the opportunity to do something different that doesn't require such hard work from you, it's going to be arriving. You know, it's not here right now, but it will be arriving. And I really feel like the Wheel of Fortune says that, you know. And then I just kind of want to revisit this sun in the Fool card, because this is a white sun. You know, this just really makes me feel that this Fool energy here is a lot more special than what I'm even able to articulate, because there's just like this, like, white light energy is different from yellow light energy. You know, it's more pure, it's more potent, it's, I don't know, it's just, it's almost, it's like the vision, the feeling that I'm getting right now is of this white energy, this white light, just like really burning up all of this like toxic stuff, or like this this junk energy. It's like eating it all up, you know. It's like burning it all up and using it for fuel for something brighter. Okay, all right, okay, so this is really nice, you know. There are definitely like there's definitely a shift for you in how you are engaging in the world right now. You know, but you may very well still be in this process of kind of figuring it all out, like letting it all kind of settle in. You know, really realizing that this position of working yourself into the ground is not like viable for you. You're probably still doing it to some extent, but like you're really coming to this realization of that doesn't work for you anymore. You can't continue to do that, that you really have to find a new direction to move in. But you're feeling the lightness of it. You're feeling like you're feeling relieved by coming around to this decision, and you're feeling very like hopeful about the things that you can move into that are going to be much more beneficial for you, and you're being supported in it as well. Okay, alrighty, I hope you have a wonderful month. Love you. Bye-bye.